So look, we're in a beautiful strip right now. You can see Dior, okay? You can see the Westin, which is a very popular hotel in Melbourne. And we're on basically a luxurious street in Melbourne, Australia, right? You got the gallery there, and you got fashion shows there that will happen here. You got Balenciaga, Mont Blanc, Omega. And these are all really cool things. You know, luxury is a real thing, the opera. Everyone's got their thing. You know, I have friends that are, they touch 50K a month. Next minute, they get their Mercedes. And then I've got friends that generate over 30 million a year, and they drive the same Mazda that they had since they were 16, So one thing I can tell you, though, is you got to figure out what game you're playing. There's different primal drives. Some people are driven by status, right? A lot of people that are in Hollywood or are drawn to social media tend to be more status driven. There's different types of narcissism as well. We're not going to talk about the different types of narcissism today. But there's also different types of drives, like I said. So some people, it's mating. They're really, really driven by the ability to procreate or to have a family, right? And then other people, they're driven by mastery, right? A lot of people want to be the best of the best in their field. Maybe they want to be the jewelry maker for certain brands, for Dolce & Gabbana or something like that. And then other people, it's freedom. They might be freedom maxing, right? Where they want to travel the world and have limited, they might even struggle, a lot of these guys, to be monogamous because they want to have the dexterity to do what they want to do, etc. So I actually would change my opinion on this compared to perhaps when I was younger, where I would maybe, not demonize, but look down on those that splurge young. Whereas you have to really understand how you're wired. For me, I'm heavily driven by freedom. Like I've always used this example. If I wanted Italian food, I want to be able at one point in the very near future to be like, I want Italian food, I'm going to fly to Italy tonight, right now. So go to Italy and eat Italian food and come back. Now, that's in many cases, a random and unnecessary expense. But for me, it is the principle of flexibility that attracts me to that way of living. It's if I want to, I can. And that entices me more than the status I could accrue, more than the dating side of things. It's more the flexibility to create at a speed in which I can, decide that I want to. So these stores are very inspirational, and a lot of these things, if you look at it from a marketing perspective, are just heavily, there's a lot of social economics that are being used there. Should we go this way, right? And by social economics, it's, making sure that there's only X amount of things available. So therefore, if you're on the wait list, like there's some of these luxury, like car people. I went to Lamborghini. This is actually real. I went to Lamborghini in Richmond, and a few of the other luxury car dealers on that area, like McLaren, Lamborghini, Ferrari, etc. And what happened was, I was just inquiring with them because basically, if I get to a certain revenue level within the next 12 months, then perhaps I'll splurge on a vehicle of that nature. But for now, I'm going to very happily enjoy driving the car that I've been driving since I was 18, 19. Anyway, nonetheless, I was inquiring with them, and I was like, yeah, look, I was talking about prices and different types of materials. And then I was like, okay, so if I was to purchase, in October or November or September, what would the turnaround time be? And they said the turnaround time would be like 12 months. And I'm like, bro, look, if I was Adrian Portelli, or if I was a billionaire or whatever, and I wasn't just, and I say just, I'm very grateful, but I wasn't turning over just a couple million a year, I'm sure that would be expedited to faster than just a year. It could be expedited in maybe 30 days, right? Or less. So things like that just demonstrate how status is largely socially engineered to make you want something more. So for example, if you see an attractive woman wearing something, or if you see 3 attractive women, I'll give you guys a tip for networking. If you go to a networking event and you walk in with 3 attractive women and you're a guy, you as a man, your status has just gone up like this, like paramount. And all the other guys in the room are going to be thinking, who's this guy? Because he's come with 3 women, right? So his brain is like, okay, like he must be, he must have some sort of resource or skill, because women, tend to derive resources from men. This is just evolutionary psychology, Dr. David Buss. You can read this yourself, right? So when you look at that, that is again a way of socially engineering something to make it look higher status. So luxury in and of itself is a bit ironic, because if you are a good enough marketer, not necessarily business person, because there's different parts of business, but if you're a good enough marketer, luxury, I'm not going to say shouldn't, but you're kind of falling victim to the skill in which you developed, if that makes sense. So like, I'm not particularly like yearning to like have a watch that's a Patek Philippe, or have a, like, I wear the same shoes since I was like freaking 22, 23, right? And then I wear runners, so I'm either wearing these or runners. But nonetheless, yeah, since I was like 22, 23, but like that's just me understanding how I'm driven. Like if I was to right now be like, you know what, effort, I'm going to focus on building a more profitable company instead of something that I'm spending on my money, on my team. And I was to, yeah, spend even more time engineering that lifestyle, I could liquidate certain amounts of funds from my business and technically put down the money for a Lambo right now. But that would be a very, not stupid, but for me, that would be quite an irrational decision correlative to the goals that I actually want to achieve, right? So again, luxury is beautiful, but you have to really understand how you're designed. If you're really like driven by status, please engineer your life to like have 1 million followers on Instagram, have the coolest clothes, and have the most amazing cars. And that actually might get you off, may make you really happy. But for me personally, like if I had to pick between no one knowing who I am and having that anonymity, and I maybe don't even hit 1 billion, but I have like 100 million, and I'm able to travel anywhere I want at any time with no hindrance from the government and no hindrance from, you know, external parties, whether business-wise, money-wise, politically, or even socially. I definitely pick that because I love just the ability to like do what I want whenever. You know, I can be quite spontaneous, and you know, I look forward to exploring more of that the wealthier I become, not just in finances, but also in spirit and in skill as a man.